This is problem number 7 on the sample test problems for test number 3. Encode the phrase test day using each of the following ciphers. A, Caesar. So I'll go ahead and write our key phrase here below, and then we'll start encoding. So the idea with Caesar is that every letter is replaced by the letter that's 3 after it. So the first letter for us is a T, and we go up here and we find the T, and then we count 3 places to the right, and we land right there on the W. So the T becomes a W. I'll change the colors here and do one more, and then we'll just zip through the rest. So the next one is an E. You find the E, you jump 3 places to the right, and E in this case becomes H. And so just do these one at a time and fill in the blanks. S, looking up at the list, goes 1, 2, 3, becomes a V. T we've already seen before, it still becomes a W. D, jumping 3 places to the right, becomes a G. A, 3 places to the right, 1, 2, 3, becomes a D. And then finally Y is kind of a funny one because it's at the end. So Y is right here. We jump 3 places to the right, that's 1. And our second jump takes us all the way back to the beginning of the alphabet, 2. And then the third spot is right there is a B. Okay, part B, a substitution cipher where each letter is replaced by the letter 2 before it. So again, I'll write our phrase, test day. Right up above, we did the Caesar cipher where every letter became replaced by the letter 3 after. In this case, we're going the other direction. So we find the letter T. It's right here. We're going 2 letters before. So T becomes R. I'll change colors and do the E. E is right here. We're going 2 before, and we land on C. And then we'll just do the rest in blue. So we find the letter S, go 2 before, lands on Q. T we've seen already becomes R. D, going 2 before, becomes a B. A is kind of funny because when you try to go 1 before, you don't hit anything. So we imagine carrying all the way over here to the right. 1 before, 2 before. So A becomes Y. And then the last one is a Y, which we jump 2 before and get to W. Part C, bifid with keyword caution. So we have some stuff to do before we can even begin, and that's to fill in this chart. So we write our keyword in here, caution. And be really careful if there are any duplicated letters in there, you don't duplicate them. So just write the letter the first time you see it. And then we're going to fill in the rest of this chart with the rest of the alphabet, starting with A, except we've got to make sure we never duplicate a letter we've already written. And you can see we've already got an A here. So we don't put an A, we jump right next to the B. This one should be a C, except we've already got a C, so we don't put another duplicate of the C. So that's B, we skip over C, we go D, E, F, H. We get to an I, but there's an I already up here in the word caution, so we skip to J. But remember, we always skip over J. So what happened to G is I messed up. Let's fix it. So E, F, G, then we go H. We're going to skip over I because it's already in the word caution. We skip over J because we always skip over J with this system. And then we go K, L, M. Skip N because it's already up above. Skip O because it's already up above. P, Q, R, S. T is already up there. U is already up there. B, W, X, Y, Z. So if you land on Z at the end, you probably did it right. If you don't land on Z at the end, you made a mistake. So go ahead and double check. All right, so now we're ready to start encoding. Again, we'll write out our phrase here, test day. One thing that's important with this method is we need to have an even number of letters in the phrase. So test day has 7 letters. That's odd. So I'm going to stick on a dummy letter. I'll use X. You could use anything you want. But if you want it to match the answer in the answer key here, you're going to use an X. Okay, and then we're going to start finding these letters in our table. We'll put the row number, and then we'll put the column number. So for example, the letter T is right here in the table. It's in the first row, 4th column. So I'm writing a 1 and then a 4. First row, fourth column. Change colors here for the E. Find the E should only appear once. It's right there. Second row, fifth column. So 2 there, 5 there. I'm just going to go ahead and write the rest of the numbers in real quick, but pause the video here, fill in the rest, and then you can check with me. Okay, so I've filled in the rest of the letters. And now we do this funny thing where instead of looking at an ordered pair like this way, it was row 1 and column 4. Instead, we start looking at it this way. Row 1, column 2. Row 4, column 1. I'm just going to rewrite all of these numbers out, just putting boxes around them so I can understand how they are grouped together. Those are the pairs that I'm interested in. So I'm going to write out all those pairs now. So let's see. So I'm going to write 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 2, 1, and 5, 5. Keep going, changing all those horizontal things to vertical things. 4, 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, and finally 4, 3. And again, I'll put here in the front that I'm thinking of this is the row and this is the column, just like up above. And now it's our job to fill in the blanks with what these letters are. So for example, row 1, column 2 is right there. So that first character is an A. And then we look at row 4, column 1. That's here. So the next character is an M. So go ahead and pause the video here and then come back when you're done and you can check against the answers we've got. Okay, so if I've done this right and you've done this right, we should have the same thing. Test A in this case encodes to AMOZ SYPQ. Part D, Visionaire with keyword fun. First thing to do is we're going to start filling in this table. So the phrase that we're interested in is the same as before. It's test day. So I'll just pause the video there to add some lines that didn't come out on my copy. So the phrase is test day, so we'll put that at the top. And the next thing to do is fill in numbers. So the numbers come just from the alphabet chart we see up above. So starting with the T from test day, we see that T is 19. And looking for E, that's number 4. So maybe pause the video and fill in the rest of these blanks. Okay, next thing to do is to fill in the keyword. In this case, the keyword is fun. So we write F-U-N. And when we're doing Visionaire, we just keep copying that keyword. So there's another F-U-N, and then you keep copying, even if you don't get to write the full word out the last time, that's okay. And now we translate to numbers just like before. So I'll write these in red. So we're looking for the number for F. You can see here F is 5. And so maybe pause the video again as you fill in the rest of these numbers. Okay, next thing to do, according to the next line in our chart here, is to add or subtract. So when we're encoding, like we're taking test day right now and encoding it, encrypting it, we're always supposed to add. So what we're going to do is add the 2 numbers in each column. So for us, this is an add, and so we're going to add that number to that number and this number to this number and all the way down. So let's start adding. 19 and 5 is 24. 4 and 20 is also 24. So pause the video and come back when you're done. But do all these additions. Okay, next line, it says mod 26, which means each of our answers is supposed to be between 0 and 25. So the first answer we've got is 24. That's fine. Anything between 0 and 25 is fine. But 31 is no good. It's too big. So what we do is we subtract 26. 31, and then subtract 26. We're doing mod 26, so you subtract 26 anytime the number is too big. So that's a 5 in this case. Next number is 24, that's fine. It's not too big. And 23 is fine. 13 is fine. 29 is too big. So what do we do to make it smaller? Subtract 26. So we get a 3 that goes right there. And then the last thing to do is finally get a phrase out of this. And so, for example, I'll highlight here in blue a 24 and a 24, and we just need to find 24 up in our alphabet chart. So that's a Y. So both of these things are Y's. We'll do one more and then maybe pause the video. I'm looking for 5. Come over here and we see that 5 is F. So pause the video and come back when you're ready to check. Okay, so if we've done this right, the encoded phrase is Y, Y, F, Y, and then oftentimes we'll leave a space. We'll group them every 4, X, and B. Finally, part E, auto key with keyword B. Okay, so we'll begin this one the same way. I'm going to draw on a few lines for just a moment because some of the lines didn't come out in my chart. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is start with our phrase. The phrase for this whole problem is test day, so we'll put that in the top line. And just like in the last problem, we need to translate test day into numbers. So for example, the T for test becomes a 19. So a 19 goes right here. Go ahead and pause the video and either copy those problems from the previous question or make them up again. Okay, and then the next thing to put in is the keyword. So the keyword in this case is B. So we start here with B, but here's the big difference between AutoKey and Visionaire is that instead of putting many copies of the word B, what we do now is to start copying the phrase that we're trying to encode. So over here we start writing out test day until we run out of space. So in this case it stops right there. All right, and then again we translate letters into numbers. So for example, the B from B becomes a 1. So that becomes a 1. So again, pause the video and come back when you're ready to check. Okay, and now once we've got these, what we're going to do is add or subtract. And when we're encoding, our job is to add. So we're going to add the 19 and the 1. Now we're going to add the 4 and the 4. We just keep adding everything up. So 19 and 1 is 20. 4 and 4 is 8. So go ahead and pause the video and come back after you've finished adding everything. Okay, so once we've very carefully added everything together, next job is to do this mod 26 business. So what we're looking for is any number between 0 and 25. If you have a number between 0 and 25, it's fine just the way it is. So 20 is between 0 and 25, so it gets copied. 8 is good, so is 22. 38 is too big. I'm going to skip it for a second. 7 is fine. 18 is fine. 43 is too big. So what do you do when the number is too big? Well, your job is to do this thing mod 26. So you take the 38 that we have and subtract 26, not 25, but 26. So in our case, this is a 12 right here. And now we'll play the same game with the 43. 43 is too big. You subtract 26, and we get 17. 17 goes here. And now that we've got the numbers, we just have to bring them back to the letters. So for example, the 20 that I see first translates to U. Next one I see is an 8. 8 translates to I. So go ahead and pause the video and then come back when you're ready to check. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Okay, so if we've got it written out there, then we just need to write down our final answer. And generally, we'll write these in groups of 4 letters each. So U, I, W, M, and then we'll leave a space, HSR.